EA has released the source code of Command and Conquers. So now we can go and dive in at what those developers did in the 90s. So I downloaded a few repositories, General 0 Hour, Red Alert, and the Remastered Collection. Red Alert, I think it is the oldest one. So if I open that, we see, first thing we see, everything is in uppercase. And quite has short names. I open one here, you see everything is in uppercase. So it's going to be fun. We have the license, the README. The README, you get already an idea of how old that game is. And just disclaimer, and don't hate me for that, I never played any Command and Conquer. I think so. Maybe very long time ago. Maybe I played it once, but it's not something I had in my video games collection back in the days. So I like to read code, so we're going to read some code. Some people read fiction, some people read business books. I read sometimes code. Dependencies, DirectX 5. So I think DirectX 5 is from 1997, so some of you were still pretty little. I was little. So what should we check? Maybe a main CPP, the fun of C++. Of course, the copyright is from this year, because that's when EA released it. But you see start date, November 20th, 1995. Let's just take one of them. This has been created earlier, November 14. The program entry point, okay? Our first comment that explains clearly what is this doing here. And I'm just going to explore things a bit, just to show you the stuff that looks like. And maybe this can help you a bit, let's say, maybe feel less bad about your own code, or recognize that, yeah, even big companies write things in a way that it must just work. And if it works, it works. There are no spaces here that a bit annoys me, but it's okay. One thing I found that was funny, it was in the bullet code. I think from Red Alert, I'm not sure. So, confidential, of course. What we have here, bullet class, the thing that you recognize, every class name is so short. It's so short, there's no long class names. Everything is short. And uppercase, of course. I don't know if it was also in the original uppercase, but that's interesting. Like the file is uppercase, but not the class name. 94. So here we have stuff like logic processing for bullet constructor, perform bullet explosion logic, remove specified target from the bullet's targeting system, unlimbo, transition a bullet object into the game render logic system. Very, very short names for functions. A big constructor over multiple lines. We can just enjoy those big formatted comments. Probably it's part of a tool set that helps you write those things. But destructor for bullet objects, the bullet destructor must detect if a dog the bullet destructor must detect if a dog has been attached to this bullet. If so, then the attached dog must be unlimboed back onto the map. This operation is necessary because unlike other objects, the dog flies with the bullet it fires. Special case. The dog is attached to the dog bullet in a limbo state. When the bullet is destroyed, the dog must come back out of limbo at the closest location possible to the bullet. The payback is not null, and the payback, what am I, is an RTTI infantry. You can check what is this. Some enum. RTTI is a targeting system. So are those just all the types of different units, I guess? A house, a factory, a cell, a bullet, building type, bullet type. Or just some general enum for all kinds of stuff. Difficulty, oh nice. Difficulty, easy, normal, hard. Oh, this file we have to keep later. So it's in the defines.h. Let's remember defines.h. Defines.h. Ooh, that's interesting. From 93. And here we go. Lots of enum. Over very many lines. That looks fun. That looks fun. I mean, everything is there. Template types. There's a lot of things. Selection enum. I mean, regardless of how many lines there are here, right? I also like to put all the enums in one place. All the constants in one file, just one place with all the constants. I like it overall. So, maybe you would split it in different places, but the thing is that if you need access to many different enum types, you just need to import the defines.h. Back to the dogs. Let's close this aside. Okay, so if our class is dog, this feels like bachelor class. Like you learn programming the first time, object-oriented programming, and you have your class animal, and then under you have dog and cat, and you build your first method. Is dog, is cat, make sound, and so on. It's funny. It's funny that something as general as a bullet starts with a special case. So what we do here, primary facing, we get the coordinates, ensure that the coordinate that the dog is to appear at is legal. If not, then find a nearby legal location. So we have can enter cell, and then if not okay, if the move is not okay, we try to find a nearby location. So again, it's kind of a grid system for such an old game, and based on one cell, we try to find which cell around it can be taken. So that would be one cell and the 8 cells around it. Try to put the dog down where the target impacted. If we can't put in that cell, then scan through the adjacent cells, starting with our current heading, until we find a place where we can put him down. If all 8 adjacent cell checks fail, then just delete the dog. Okay, yes, so I don't know what limbo does. Doesn't open it? It's fine. Allocate the memory. Well, that's, old school. Not old school, I mean, it's more like lower level programming languages. You'll have to manage your memory by yourself. The joy of C++. You allocate your own memory and you need to release your own memory. Free and allocate. It is overall not that scary. It's not something that, it's more work, but managing memory is not that scary overall. It's just more work and more error prone. The rest is just bullet stuff. In the 90s, they already had AI. It's not a hype. It's really fun. That was the bullet class. And it's long. It's redoing a lot of things. So I'm just going to go over all of that. But the dog thing was interesting. It's funny. One thing I also found, it was in a generals.cpp. Oh, I'm already searching on the wrong way. Was it this one or not? I don't think it was this one. It was this one, yeah. So this file was also glorious. I'm not sure it is in the matchbot, tools matchbot. So it's like, can we imagine, is it documented even? There is no documentation here. So we have some users, generals users. Oh, so generals is like, the military generals. So the file is part of the matchbot folder or module, whatever, and calculate ping delta. So I guess this is for multiplayer, all this stuff. Generals matcher, global config, no echo, quiet TMP, then the match information. So yeah, I think we can play up to 8 players. So we send the name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, name 5, name 6, name 7, name 8. General 1, user 1, up to 8. Nice. This is, there could maybe be a good data structure to have a less long list of parameters. Or maybe an array, you could send a list of string names and a list of users. You could also send a list of name users pairs. Oh, this. I mean, I don't say anything bad against developers that worked on this. This is, of course, fun, and it works. And also, it's easy to understand. It's so easy to understand. And you know exactly what it is doing. And it might not be the best design pattern, but it works. And for the computer, it's the same. The computer doesn't care if you write, optimized modular code or if you, make first grade sequences of if else. Oh, this is interesting. So we kind of join lots of strings together and they're all separated by space. Is this like, why would they do that? Is this like just to prepare a data package to send over the network? Because we are sending the IP, the country, the color, the NAT. Like it seems that it's just creating a long string for each player. Everything is the same. You could have a function, you know, like generate, I don't know, user payload and then write these ones. But no, let's make it super explicit. Again, if user 3, 4, 5. I mean, in the 90s, probably this game was like, was it maybe just over the LAN, peer-to-peer, stuff like that? Maybe. Check matches. So what we do here, the number of players in the ladder. Okay. And here, this is a thing when I check the preview, I was like, oh, what is happening here? This goes deep. And some blocks, you see, they become bigger and bigger. Iterate through all users, looking for a match. For I in user map begin, user map end. So each user, we loop. So we take user 1 and we look at everybody else's. And then we somehow compute a match fitness between 1 and 2. And if that score, whatever number it generates, is above a certain fitness threshold, so it is probably there. So a fitness threshold would be a constant, 0.3. Okay. So they compute the score, and if it's above 0.3, they can say, let's check what he's doing. Actually, I'm curious. See if they ping the same number of servers, check point percentage ranges, check pings. Oh, okay. Debug message still there. That's great. So would this be like computing if two people would be having a connection good enough to play together? Could be this. So then we check if there are 2 players. So if you have 2 players, and then we check again if it is the best match fitness, whatever. I mean, so where we were, but it gets crazier. Possibly match 2 players. Else, so if you don't have 2 players, okay, obviously we have 3 players, maybe. So we loop over I3 to the rest. So I3 is I2, right? So we continue where the rest previously was, and we loop over the rest. So now, so now we need to compute the fitness over 2 people. And then map set union, well, then it continues. I4 becomes I3, so we can do the rest. And then, of course, 3 compute matches, and then even more map set unions. And finally, then match info. So for 2 players, we didn't then match infos, but for 4, we then match infos, and we break. Breaks are glorious. Else, if it's not 4, it's 5, and then more. And of course, 5, we cannot do a match, so it must be 6, so we continue at 6. And then if it is not 6, it's 7. So at 7 we continue. And if it's not, and if it's 7, it must be 8. So we continue even more. But there was something. There are so many numbers. I5, I4, I3. Oh, it's right here. So I4 becomes I3. Okay. So we loop over I4. We increase I4. And here it's like, okay, I5 becomes I4. Why do we increase here I3? And here we also increase I5. What is this? Because here we increase I3 and I3. What? So we always jump 2? What? Interesting. Like everywhere is the same, except here it is I3. I don't know. Is this a bug or a feature? Do we use I3 here still? Like, I cannot imagine this being a bug. This would mean that it would probably not be able to match more than 4 people, because at 5 you need to match until 6. I don't know. Probably it has been patched at some point. But in here it's like, okay, this is weird, I3. It's funny. Nevertheless, that's really big. This could be, I mean, look at that. At least we know the last one is for I2. Is it though? Let's scroll up. I2, yes. So the I1 is for I1. Oh, it's here. Whew. At least we know where the loop finishes and then dump users. This is fun. You could put this maybe I mean, in a method. It seems a lot of repetition. And how would you solve, I mean, how would you refactor this in practice if you want to refactor this? You probably want to create just a data structure to have a bit more than just your user maps. So maybe you want another data structure that even maybe some recursive function to fix this, because that's pretty crazy. It's prone to errors, so many U1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Crazy. There are also fun stuff all around. If you search for bad words, you always find interesting things in source codes. And they didn't redact stuff out. Maybe they changed stuff, but at least it's always fun to try to search for specific comments. A worker is a unit that is both a dozer and a supply truck. Holy fuck. SRG, is this seriously? Evil hack here, ... This whole heat vision thing is fucked. Don't want it on mines, but no good way to do that. Hack for now. It's an evil hack. It's a hack for now. Like 2 times, it's a hack. Same comment here, big hack. Hacks are never like obvious. Sometimes a little hack is just an if else somewhere. Is kind of mine. Funny. What else do we have here? Heat vision. Homework for today. Write 2000 words reconciling. Your code must never crash with intentionally putting crashes in the code. Fucked up. I guess he treats himself as that. Debug crash. Factory is not MP, but should be. Heat vision. Char. Well, that's failed to get OS version. That seems like something that probably should never happen. If at this point you name your variables like that. It's desperation. What else do we have? A lot of WTF. I mean, especially, not a lot, sorry. Just a few. WTF question mark. This is a place where I expect bad comments in the networking. Like where you curse and it's also a question mark because you have no idea why. This function sucks. I'm not going to read all that. Holy crap, this sucks to debug. I love when just you communicate your emotions through comments and as an extension through version control and Git. Blah, this sucks, seriously. Do you think your code is perfect when you code? I don't know. If you don't curse in your code, probably you are not coding hard enough. Have to wait for the takeoff or landing to complete, just store the sucker. More suckage, but now with twos. Here's a set of equally sucky functions for dealing with. Yahoo, here's some more. If they break this, we're gonna really be hurting. Someone had fun writing this. Jenny. It's a G3D library. 2000. Note, I had to put this inside the class definition because VC5. Next, we will suck out the internals of that blob. Smiley face. A lot of it. Okay, those are a bit similar thing. I mean, I have 3 code bases, right? And there is, of course, some repetition sometimes. Glorious. Someone likes to use that word. There's also another one I found that was funny. If I search for shame, I can't ask object for the exit as remove from contain is only in the contain type. I'm splitting the name in shame. Shame on me. Admittedly, this is a massive violation of data-driven design. I mean, there were other violations there as well in the code. Shame on me. Unknown site, don't provide any advice, simplicity reasons. And that's it. That was a funny one. Shame on me. At least it's not shame on you. There's also one more. I think it's by the way. Oh, that's too much. I didn't. It's this one, I think. I didn't want to, no. I didn't enable it. This doesn't actually seem to be particularly useful in performance-wise, so I didn't enable it. Okay. I didn't want to pollute the main rendering pipeline. Oh, here it is. Control bar .cpp. So the control bar is doing what? Is it documented? I have no idea what it's doing. But other than this being a completely ridiculously retarded IDE, I'm not inclined to recode this in a better way. Yikes. By the way, I did not code this, but this is what it does. The button images are overridden by a faction-specific icon, and so on. I did not code this. I mean, they probably have version control. They should know who coded this. But then specifying specifically, I did not code this is, I find it's pretty funny. That's the joy of teamwork. Chris, awesome comment. Create a fake radar event so the user can use a spacebar to quickly jump to this. Internally creates a radar event but doesn't notify the player. For example, so we can use a spacebar to jump to the event. Oh, so it's like you have specific events happening on the map and then you have this event that doesn't notify the player but you can still jump to it. Oh, okay. I guess. Makes sense. What was here? Nice. Perfect naming, obviously. Because you have things like class barrel from building type class and some definition on it. Class barrel tree, that is not 1 and 2 yet. Class AV mine, iron curtain, forward com, advanced deck, class chronosphere, weapon, shipyard, sub pen. This is fun to manage. Like if you don't want to do this, what would you do? A builder pattern might help you. So you would do class pillbox or generate class pillbox, and then you would say dot set pbox, dot set facing none, dot set fake building true, dot and at the end you would say build and get your thing back. Like a builder pattern would just be an alternative to this. There is so much fun stuff in this. I mean, it's a big game and many people worked on this. And we could just go on and check all kinds of stuff. But the code is there. I encourage you to go check it out because it's very fun to just see what they're doing. But last one, there was a translation files. So to all the people that doesn't like translations in games, just know that the tools today are better than the tools before. So where was it? Come on. Conquer.back. Those are the translation files. Okay. So it's like, a hash and the code and then the value. I mean, it is manageable. It's just, pretty terrible to read. First the value and then what it is doing. So cell, the structure is txt cell. Repair is button repair. And so on and so forth. Load mission, save mission, delete mission. And so on. And there were fun stuff here, I think. Light tank, heavy tank, mammoth tank, longbow, helicopter. I think some of them were pretty funny in other languages. And so on and so on and so on. Power plants, oil tanker, and a lot of fun stuff. You must enter a name. Destination game version is outdated. You can't reject yourself. Only one player? Oops. TXT oops. So this is the English version, French version is also oops, but with a space here. Okay, I just have the encoding here wrong. What was here that was funny? I didn't write it down. Maison du Pasteur John, Maison de Ménélique, Ted le Marchand, Puits du Village, Champ de Pommes de Terre, Fabricant de Jouets, Bazooka, Tank Tesla. Ooh, maybe a new product. Of course, a war game, we have to check the German translation. What do we have here? It always sounds more impressive in German. Mehrspielermodus, Einsatzbeschreibung, Netzwerkspieleinstellungen, KI-Spieler. Yeah, like AI. AI in German is KI. AI in French is IA. I guess you didn't know that I speak 4 languages. German, they are great for making long words and everything stick together. Wait. Unverwundbarkeitsschirm. Oh, so it is an invisibility shield. Bigfoot. I guess that's universal. And here, face the enemy 2. Has not been translated. Run for your life. You know what? We're going to stop on that. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and go work on your game.